Oh, do you girls also wear sunscreen? Did you know that it was invented by a scientist?
Nerd.
The Powerpuff Girls, a show by Craig McCracken. It was part of world premiere Toons in 1995 and 1996. The pilots led to the show gaining its own series with a total of 78 episodes, and that's only scratching the surface. It's got a movie, 2 shorts, a Christmas special, a 10th anniversary special, there's a CGI Powerpuffs, a Japanese Powerpuffs, and there's another whole series of Powerpuffs in 2016. But that's not the show I grew up with, so I think it's terrible, even though it's probably just fine. I just don't like change. All these extra Powerpuff stuff is all cool and whatever, but we're here for how it all began. And it all began with a can of Whopass.
Thus, the Whopass Girls were born.
Whopass Stew, also known as Whopass Stew: A Sticky Situation. This is the first appearance of the Powerpuff Girls. Originally a pilot to be pitched to Nickelodeon, it is a student film made by Craig McCracken. While he was in that college every famous animation person ever went to. You know, the one where they put the little classroom number on everything. I'm just jealous. The Craigster had 4 shorts planned, but this was the only one produced due to the name Whopass being a little bit too urban for Cartoon Network's taste. Craig has said he has asked all his friends to help think of a new name, and 2 separately had come up with Powerpuff. And I think it's a big improvement, so no real complaint from old Ashley. As for the short itself, it follows very closely to what the show would become, and most of it consists of what would develop into the show's real opening. The narration done here by the Craigster is almost exactly the same as the show's narration.
These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl.
With the biggest change being a can of Whopass accidentally being added to the concoction instead of
Chemical X.
The professor is also completely different looking, like a cross between Dexter from Dexter's Lab and a UPA type character. Other than the very crude animation, this is basically the real opening. The girls, here called the Whopass Girls, have their Margaret Keane inspired designs locked down, along with their correct names. It then has some limited animated opening reminiscent of Batman 66 where they battle the Gangrene Gang, with Big Billy looking the closest to his final design. The stills and bits of animation are nice though, and you can find an interview with Craig on YouTube that shows the pencil tests which look amazing. The actual plot of the short has the Amoeba Boys fully locked and loaded, having just robbed a bank. They are confronted by the Whopass Girls, here all voiced by Jennifer Fried, or maybe it's Freed. The Amoeba Boys look the same as the final show, but are a lot more aggressive and competent in their later appearance where they're a lot more friendly and feckless. The short ends with Whopass Girls flying the Amoeba Boys into the sun, assumably killing them. Bit harsh, but okay. We didn't get the classic "the day is saved" line with the girls in front of the sun. The short ends with the girls in their iconic flight pose. They wave at the camera and fly off as the narrator tells us to watch out for another episode of Whopass Stew. The Craigster had high hopes of making 3 more episodes, but when it was picked up by Cartoon Network, they changed the show. I say changed the show, but all they really did was change the name. You can find the storyboard animatics for these shorts online, or at least 2 of them, including this one titled Whopass Girls A Go-Go. This short starts with the leader in general, an early mayor prototype who is presenting the key of the world to the Whopass Girls. When all of a sudden, the devil comes out of nowhere and challenges the girls to a race for the key. It's only an animatic, but it has a lot more energy than the finished short and is a lot more fun. It just kind of ends abruptly as Blossom puts pedal to the metal and overtakes the devil to win. This plot would later be reused and expanded in the Powerpuff Girls Rule, a TV special produced for the 10th anniversary of the show. Here they race again for the key to the world, but against all the villains. It's a great watch, so I won't spoil it. You can find the other 2 animatics online for Monkey See, Doggy Do, the first Mojo Jojo short, and the 4th one, Monster Trouble. Both were later adapted to season 1 episodes of the series. There are also 2 official Powerpuff Girl pilots made in 95 and 96 respectively. The 96 one was the return of the Amoeba Boys, now in their traditionally pathetic characteristics. It is a fun episode where they are terrible at committing crime. The one I want to focus on though is Meet Fuzzy Lumpkins. This was broadcast as part of What a Cartoon on February 20th, 1995. The show opens with our narrator but no city of Townsville. Instead we are at the City Mall, where the mayor, completely unrecognizable, is hosting a jam competition to be judged by the Powerpuff Girls. Already you can notice the stylistic difference to how the series would later look. The Powerpuff Girls make their entrance, their outline's not as bold as they would be in the final, and Blossom's hair is a bit distracting, but overall they are the same. The show looks so dynamic, and it only gets better as we are introduced to Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Say Fuzzy, what's your secret?
Oh, well, I'm gonna win, cause my jam is special.
How's that?
It's made of meat.
Fuzzy, furious his jam wasn't declared the winner, begins a rampage with his meat gun. Look at this, just look how good this looks. I like Fuzzy we get in the show fine, but this Fuzzy is a lot smarter and more dynamic. We see the mayor calling the girls to save the day as he is turned into meat. We see the first appearance here of their teacher, and more importantly, as they come to rescue and fix the town, we have the debut of the talking dog.
Boy, they sure are in a jam.
That's it!
Then the girls fly off to find Fuzzy Lumpkins, voiced by Jim Cummings, sounding only like Jim Cummings can.
The Powerpuff Girls?
We get an amazing fight that culminates in Bubbles, angry at her hair being turned into meat, not meat, going nuts on Fuzzy. She even kicks his leg off at one stage, then trips him before turning him into meat. The short ends with the girls barbecuing Fuzzy Lumpkins and feeding him to the mayor, who is still meat. Dark. They still have that murderous whoop-ass edge here, and the short ends with the iconic heart background as the narrator declares that the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. I love this pilot. It's a lot of fun and different enough to the final product to be really interesting. They would experiment more in the 96 What a Cartoon short and tweak and change it more for the final series, fixing designs, pacing and doubling down on the more simplistic graphic character designs. I think the final look of the show was perfect, but it's cool seeing this more fluid take on the girls. The formula was there all the way from the Whopass Girls, but there were years of small tweaks and changes made in development to get the show we all know and love. Like most good things, it didn't just happen overnight.